I don't know if the, excuse me, I don't know if the phone is going to last. It's down to 15% and it shut off while I was driving. So, we'll see. Once it gets to 10%, it seems to want to turn off. Anyways, so the things that we learn as we're growing up, excuse me, got a frog in my throat. The things that we learn growing up, damn, I'm going way too fucking fast here. The things that we learn as we're growing up, and you know what's amazing? The advice that my dad always gave me, you know, I would just, whatever, you don't know me, and he was right about everything. It's so weird how that works when you're growing up, and I'm looking forward to this with my own kids when they start to establish their independence, where they, you know, you say, hey, I've been there, this is what happened, here's my advice, and they're like, oh, I know what I'm doing. You know, I was the same way. And I went through a growth of learning from about the time when I was 15 until probably about 21. Lots of learning. And it's amazing how much I learned in those 5-6 years. It's amazing how much I learned versus what I had learned the previous 15 years. Everything it was just me maturing, basically. And I look back, and it's not like I have all these regrets where I say, oh my God, because that's a part of me. If I didn't learn, then, you know, I would still be that person today. And it's amazing that from the time I was about 15 to, like I said, 21 or so, I learned a lot about who I wanted to be. Not talking about career-wise or whatever, but the type of person that I wanted to be. And I made a lot of mistakes. I'm not talking about criminal mistakes. I'm talking about things like decisions on money, credit cards, relationships. It took a while for me to grow up, because at that young age, you know, when I was 15, I had my first love, and I can remember just making all sorts of mistakes, but I didn't see it until it was too late. And I remember the feelings and the thoughts that were going through my mind. I remember them. I absolutely remember all of those feelings. And right now, I understand what I was feeling. I just don't know why I was. And it's amazing because, you know, we say things like, oh, if we could go back and do it all over, you'd change that. Well, I wouldn't change what I have now for the world, because I've got 2 great kids, wife. I mean, yeah, of course I could always use more money, a bigger house, a better car, this, that, and the other thing, but I'm definitely happy with what I have. But just, I guess, the regrets of, you know, making decisions, listening to my dad because he could see it, because he was the same exact way. So it's a family thing. So that's why I'm a little bit nervous about my own kids getting into adolescence and getting their first girlfriends and first serious relationships and things like that, knowing that there's a good possibility they could end up like me, like my dad, and I'll offer all the advice in the world, and you know, there's nothing I can do about it, basically, because it is what it is. I'll just do my best. But I just wish that I wasn't the way that I was. And that was a big learning process, because a lot of the things that I did, and I'm not going to go into all the details about my relationships or anything, but a lot of it was just pure jealousy. That's all it was. It was just jealousy. It was my trying to hold on to what I had because I didn't want to lose it. And while I had trust there wasn't enough for me to say, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. If I did my very best, that's all I can ask for. And if I get screwed over on the deal, then it's not my fault, basically. I'll do what I can. And I just never knew that or understood that until later on in my life. Like I said, my early 20s. And so it was a slow process, but I just, I'm glad that I was able to learn from it. I really do. And you know, we always think back. All of us do. It doesn't matter how much you care about somebody. It doesn't matter how long you've been married to somebody. It doesn't matter how much you love the person you're with. You always, I don't care who you are, you always think about that first love or that first kiss. It may have ended badly, but you still think about it. There's no way to avoid it because there's a lot of first feelings, a lot of first experiences. And it's not something I sit down every day and say, oh, I remember the good times. It's not like that, but just on occasion you just kind of, oh yeah, I remember that. Or you'll hear a song that brings you back or whatever. It's much more powerful when it's your first versus, you know, when it's just another step, I guess. When it's your first, then it's much, much more powerful. And so anyway, I just, I'm amazed at the stuff that I have learned. I'm still learning today. I don't know everything. I'm still learning how to be a parent. I'm still learning how to make good decisions. I mean, there is no book in life that says this is the right, this is the wrong. I mean, we have basic right and wrong, like obviously crimes, you know the difference between right and wrong, things like that. But as far as making decisions for your family, you know, there's no book that says this is what you should do. But so I'm still learning, but a lot, like I said, a lot of my learning happened, I would say the bulk of it happened probably when I was about 18 or 19. But you know, the kickstart was definitely when I was 15, 16 years old and had some time to reflect on that and then not make as many mistakes, but I still did. And then it took all the way until you know, I met my current wife. When I met my wife, not like she's my second or third, it took all the way until then to really become the person that I wanted to be and treat others like I wanted to be treated. So a lot of maturing happened, a lot. So I'm glad that we can learn as humans, and I feel like I'm a better person because of it. I still make mistakes, but hey, that's just life. Sometimes there's quirks about us that you just can't get rid of no matter how hard you try. So, but anyway, let me know what you guys think. So I'll catch y'all later. Take care.